This is Joe Biden. And who else was on this?
The minority leader,
yeah.
Representative Jeffries.
Right.
Yeah.
Claiming credit for something Donald Trump clearly did. And that's setting the $35 cap on the cost of insulin. Check this out again. This is amazing. Let's play this from the beginning.
Participating plans will cap cost at just $35 a month per type of insulin, and some plans may offer it free.
Okay, it's
so for everybody that was getting ripped off,
May of 2020,
and paying tremendous prices, senior citizens.
Mm-hmm. But guess what? Instead of $400 to $500 a month, they're going to pay $35 a month.
Guess what? Because of Donald Trump. Guess what?
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
I called on the prescription drug companies to bring down the price of insulin.
Wait, what?
$35 to everyone, not just seniors.
It's unbelievable.
Today, Eli Lilly, the largest manufacturer of insulin in the United States of America, agreed to do just that.
Agreed to do that. Well,
$35.
House Democrats met with Secretary Becerra to talk about implementation of our efforts to negotiate lower drug prices for everyday Americans, to strengthen access to affordable health care.
Just a few days ago.
And to discuss our efforts around things like capping the cost of insulin for everyday Americans at $35
a month. At $35 a month.
How did you know he was going to say that?
Thank you, Donald Trump. I don't know. It just like I'm clairvoyant, something. I'm like Kreskin, you know. It's just incredible. And that's something that was pretty important for me, too, at one time, the insulin situation. Because when you have to get the insulin nonstop.
That's every day, right?
Like every day, 4 times a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I had to inject at the beginning of this, when I first found out that I had diabetes back in February. Yeah, I was doing insulin 4 times a day. And so, you know, that adds up. Because not only do you have to do the insulin, you got to get the needles to inject yourself with the insulin. You have to get you got to get continual wipes so that you can clean off the area where you're going to inject yourself. I mean, it's expensive. It really does add up. Fortunately, we have really good insurance, so my hospital stay cost so much that it kind of wiped out a lot of my deductibles. So that was nice. But so I don't really even know how much how much it was for my insulin because our insurance took care of the whole thing because we already paid our maximum amount for the year in like 1 month.
So you're thankful for this administration capping.
Yes, I am. So I'm thankful to Joe Biden for capping the insulin cost at $35 a month. Actually, if you could cap the Mounjaro cost at that, too, that would be great because now I don't have to take insulin anymore. I just take Mounjaro once a week. As opposed to 4 times a day, it's once a week. Maybe they could work on that next. Maybe Joe Biden could take care of that after taking care of our insulin situation.
So does this deserve any Pinocchios?
Oh my gosh, yes.
How many would you rate this?
You gotta. I think we have to give him the full 4 Pinocchios on fire. His pants on fire, Pinocchios.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Joe Biden deserves that claiming credit for something that clearly came from Donald Trump. Do you forget that we have the proof? We have the clips. There's something called video where we can Google where we can watch this stuff and we can look it up immediately. And I guess they count on the fact that very few people are going to actually look into it and see whether or not Joe Biden just talked to Eli Lilly and got them to agree to a $35 a month cap. I mean, I guess he's just counting on our apathy and our ignorance. That's amazing, though. So do we have the Pinocchios lined up? Did we put it up there?
We already put it up there. Oh,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you.
It was so on fire.
Unbelievable. That's just really amazing. Then we have Kamala Harris, who's talking about combating environmental racism. That's a problem.
The question for you is, what measures do you support to combat environmental racism and its impact on vulnerable populations?
I'm sorry, what? Environmental racism? What is that?
There's so much there. I mean, we talked about it in terms of equity and inclusion and diversity, right? We need to, first of all, agree and acknowledge that
in terms
there are systems that have been long in place that need to be reformed. So, for example, our criminal justice system. And the work that we need to do to recognize the disparities that exist there.
So, what is environmental racism, by the way? Is that where pollution is only happening in minority areas? Is that where we're blowing all the smoke and pollution into minority areas and the suburban areas are clean and pristine? Is that what that is?
The Google definition is a type of inequality where people in communities of color and other low-income communities face a disproportionate risk of exposure to pollution and health-related conditions.
And why does that happen?
Because they're black.
Because they're black or
brown.
Hispanic. Yeah. Okay. All right. So they're black or Hispanic, so they face a disproportionate threat.
Yes, risk of exposure.
Risk of exposure to pollution. And
related health conditions, probably like heart attacks, high blood pressure.
Who was it? It was Don Lemon a few years ago. Did you ever see we've played the Don Lemon thing before, where he was talking about black areas and said that he's never seen white people litter in their areas of town, but he sees it all the time in the black community. That was Don Lemon. So is that the environmental racism we're talking about? Because if you're polluting your own area, then that's your deal. That's not society's. I don't know. Just it's absolutely ridiculous. And by the way, KJP yesterday was talking about Joe Biden's age, and she had something very interesting to share for us. Here's what she had to say yesterday. Cut 4.
You've seen all the public polling, people concerned about age. How does the president plan to convince the American people over the next year that 80 is not too old for someone who's running for re-election?
80's the new 40. Didn't you hear?
80's the new 40.
Look, it is.
Can you believe that?
Let's.
I mean, I guess she's kidding.
I get asked this question about
I hope she's kidding.
Once a week, maybe twice a week. I don't know. I've lost track.
Pause it. Yeah, there's a reason for that, Puddin'. There's a really good reason for that. It's because the guy's too old to be in office, and everybody sees it every single day. Do you understand? There's a reason for you to be asked these questions.
And I'm sorry, it's not enough. If it's only one or two,
it's not enough. You're right. You should be asked that every day, all day. All stinking day. You should have to deal with it. Yeah. Yep. Hey, how come this guy who's so incompetent and so obviously compromised physically and mentally, how is he still in office? That should be the question every day.
Well, Jeff, Pat, 80's the new 40.
80's the new 40. Uh-huh. All right, let's see the rest of this. Jeez.
This is a president, if you think about it.
If you think about it. In terms of?
In 2019, he got the same criticism. In 2020.
Yeah, he was old then.
In 2022, he got the same criticism.
Yes, because he was old then.
He beats the naysayers.
No, he doesn't.
Every time he does
above
and beyond.
He doesn't.
He makes history in doing that.
Good heavens, I can't take it.
Others are
all
not
right,
able
stop.
To.
I can't. I just can't.